I'm Fred Beshid, and I am the creator of the Museum of Fred. It began with my collecting paintings in high school and college, where I would go to thrift stores, and over the years I just was drawn to them. One of the things that draws me to the paintings is that they were donated to thrift stores. They were abandoned by their owners, and so to me they're orphans, and I'm giving them a home. As a collection, they have a greater meaning than they do by themselves, being abandoned in a thrift store. I started collecting in the 80s. I went to art school, and when I started painting myself, I developed more of an appreciation for the work because I understood how challenging it was to reproduce a three-dimensional world onto a two-dimensional plane. I'm drawn to paintings that show that the artist struggled against their limitations. But the ones that stand out are figurative pieces because they show the most struggle, because it's very difficult to paint figures, especially hands. So it's interesting to me when artists try to hide their limitations and cover up hands or cover up figures with clothing, or make things impressionistic in some areas and more realistic in other areas. When I created the museum, I had several hundred paintings, and when I put them on the site, I saw this opportunity where I could share the paintings with people around the world. Because the mission of a museum is to preserve artifacts and stories and history for future generations. I didn't have any expectations, and I hadn't seen anything like it before, so I had no idea what the audience was or who would be interested in it. But it wasn't until 2006 when the NPR did the story on the museum, on virtual museums, that I realized that the museum had a life much bigger than I could have imagined, because the art world is very elitist and people are only interested in blue chip artists and famous artists. So amateur art just gets pushed aside and nobody's interested in it. I like to look at the paintings and try to figure out who the artist was and what the story was behind it. That's one of the things that's interesting to me, is the mystery of it, of not knowing and trying to figure out what's the story behind this painting and why was it painted. I don't know, maybe someone was trying to exorcise some kind of demons, and they're trying to bring to life some disturbing idea or disturbing image, some unresolved issue that they had. I think I have more than 1,000 paintings. I hope to have a physical museum space where I can display them so people can see them. I've had exhibitions in the past, and that's really the best way to look at a painting, especially when it's put on the internet and when you're looking at a low-resolution computer screen. You just can't appreciate the nuances of the original. The Museum of Fred wants to elevate the paintings and make them a part of the greater art world, and not just a joke.